Hello, and welcome back to Tiny Factory. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back to Monifactory. I am tiny, though. I don't know how that happened. Okay, fine. I do know how it happened. We'll go back to normal. Anyway, last episode, we started getting some titanium. We set up a whole nice little blast furnace process to get this going. And we should be making lots of this stuff now. And this is something that we can get pretty easily because we have lots of rutile on hand. And it basically just kind of cycles itself so long as we have rutile. And rutile is a byproduct of an ore we get from the tier 1 microminer. So it probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and run another one of these. I'm just missing a couple tiny things. But yeah, we're already up to 97 titanium. So I guess step number 1 for me is today at least, is gonna be to get another microminer going. There are a couple little automations I still need to set up. I need a large gear extruder. I need a double plate bender. And maybe that's all I'll do for now. Alright, let me get this new bender set up. Oh, and I guess I need a pattern provider for that too. I do need to swap this one out, however, for an extended one so I can have more plates. And then I need an extruder with a gear mold so that I can make those as well. Okay, for a double bender, we're going to set this to circuit 2. And then we should be able to put a pattern for a double steel plate using 2 steel ingots. I also didn't realize that we can use the multi-smelter as an alloy smelter for bulk alloying a lot faster. Look at that, ender pearls. I might want to set up another one of these so I can automate stuff like alloys. I think I'm going to make another multi-smelter and then make patterns for all the alloys. And then I could just make patterns for dust too, right? For smelting. So I don't have to keep going over there and doing it. Let's just make 64 of these at a time. We'll just start with all the basic ones. Okay, we're about to find out if my alloy smelter theory works. I need some tin alloy. We're just gonna craft things in bulk now. Let's see if that's working at our multi-smelter. Oh, I guess it did. Already? Before I could even get to it? Oh, yeah, perfect. Now I'm gonna set up another multi-smelter for making our normal furnace recipes. And then we can set this up to do smelting patterns. Also gonna do these in bulk, just made 64 at a time. And then we can just pipe our output from the output bus back into the pattern provider. So that should send it back to our system. Let's test this out and request a stack of iron. Forgot to do maintenance, but it does work. Okay, well that takes care of some quality of life stuff. I never did get the microminer though, did I? Alright, let's try this again. Wonderful. So now that we have all that taken care of, let's do the actual stuff and progression I wanted to do today. Now that we have titanium, there's some new things that we unlock. We unlock tier 2 microminers. We unlock EV machines, which will definitely allow us to finish our tetrafluorine ethylene automation, whatever that is. Because now we can make an EV rock breaker to mine deep slate so that we can get infinite fluorine. Let's see what that would cost. It's called a rock crusher now. Alright, so we're going to start making some patterns for EV machines. This, of course, includes all the motors and pistons and the machine hull. And honestly, none of this is too bad. We have polyethylene. We have titanium now. We'll need to start making aluminum cables. Oh, and these also need PVC to be wrapped in. But that's also fine. We have plenty of that. And then the motors and pistons are all made out of titanium materials. Let's run another microminer mission. How do I get back here? Boop. Okay, we are missing a couple things before we can make the rock breaker. We need magnetic neodymium to make these new tier of motors. Not only do we need to go find neodymium, but we need to make the magnetic rods in an HV polarizer. So we're gonna have to get that next before we can do anything else. And then the polarizer takes neodymium anyway, so we're gonna have to go mine some of that. Neodymium is found in basanite veins in the nether, and that would be right here. So there should be plenty of neodymium here that we can just throw in our ore processing system to get dust, and then we can blast furnace it. As I'm looking further and further ahead into the progression and trying to get into EV machines, I'm realizing I am desperately gonna need to do some petrochem. And I'm not exactly excited for it, but I think we're gonna have to. All of these liquids here that you see are things that we're gonna need. And this all starts with oil. I'm coming back for liquid air. We're gonna do that too. But we're gonna need to distill our oil into some different products. So this is all gonna start with raw oil, which we're mining with a fluid drill right here. So we're definitely gonna need to fire this up again to keep mining some oil. But then we're gonna need to distill this into 4 different products. Right now what we're doing is we're taking that oil and distilling it into sulfuric light fuel. But with a distillation tower, we get 4 different liquids. We're gonna get sulfuric heavy fuel, light fuel, naphtha, and sulfuric gas. So let's start with building a distillation tower to get those 4 fuels. We're also not missing that much to get the tier 2 microminer. And then I would like to run this because it's got a couple of ores that I want. It comes with sphalerite, which is a source of gallium for us, which we need for most of our circuit things. Bauxite also has gallium, and also comes with rutile. We're gonna get pilot core, which has apatite, and I think we need niobium, but I'm not sure yet. But we definitely want some apatite. We're gonna get scheelite, which is a really good source of manganese and some molybdenum. And then finally, we're going to get tungstate, which also has manganese and a little bit of silver. We also get copper and cassiterite, and we're going to get some radium salt, which has rock salt and radon gas, which we're going to need for progression. So I'm just missing some tiny little things here. The electro microminer engine core is made inside of an HV canner with just some electrum and a couple of redstone blocks, so not too bad. Do need an HV canner though, which is very random. Okay, hopefully I'm not like too all over the place with what I'm doing this episode, because honestly, I'm not sure I know either. Oh, where's my autoclave? You need to go down here. So for our tier 2 microminer, I need to get that out. Hold on. The only little weird material we're missing are the pulsating crystals. And these are just made in an autoclave with pulsating iron. And that is made from alloying, pulsating dust, and iron dust, so super easy. And then we just combine that with some diamonds to get a couple pulsating crystals. Maybe we'll automate this later on. Alright, let's get our electrum core. Okay, I can finally craft the tier 2 microminer. I'm gonna have to have this go into the barrel with our other paper patterns, just because it's a bigger crafting recipe. We don't have access to automating those yet. I am definitely gonna need to fix up our rocket fuel setup because this is not good. Alright, and there's our first tier 2 microminer. Let's pop this in here along with some quantum flux, and we're gonna need 12 buckets of rocket fuel, and we now need to run this at EV power. Ooh, how are we gonna do that? So because we can only have 2 energy hatches, we're gonna have to upgrade to HV hatches at least. I don't know if we can get the EV energy hatch. Doesn't look like it right now. So working our way towards these HV energy hatches, we're missing a couple of things. First, we need these LPIC chips. This is a new kind of chip. We're gonna need an HV cutter to cut these low power wafers, which we can get from our normal silicon wafers that we've been making. We also need a new lens, which is the orange one, and the only way to get this is inside of an HV chemical bath from orange dye and a glass lens. Alright, so one thing at a time here. Also, I had to make a stainless steel drum because apparently our aluminum ones are not hot enough to hold liquid glass. Anyway, we need this liquid glass to make let's take this out, and we're gonna make a glass plate, which we can then lathe into a glass lens. We're then gonna need to take that lens and make it into an orange lens, similar to how we've done the diamond lens, the emerald lens, all the other colors. But this time, we don't have a gem that can give us the right color. So we're gonna need to make orange dye synthetically. So we just need some salt, a little bit of orange dye, and then some sulfuric acid. And we only need a little bit of the stuff. So let me go grab some of that acid. Had to go find some flowers to make orange dye. And we can combine that with salt to get the orange dye we need. We will also need an HV chemical bath. And then with this guy, we'll be able to put our orange dye and our glass lens together. Boom. Which we can then combine in our laser engraver with some normal silicon wafers. This is going to get us some LPIC wafers, which we're then going to use in an HV cutter to get the chips that we need. So let's see if we can make a pattern for this. Can we use N steel or blue steel? I think we're going to go blue steel. I think it's easier for us to make, and yes, we don't have to make any extra machines. We'll just need to mix together some blue steel dust, which is black steel, brass, rose gold, and steel. Whereas N steel is stark steel, vibrant alloy, and N stone. The toss-up. My next quick little project is going to be to make an HV rock crusher. So that we can make infinite alumina. What am I talking about? Infinite obsidian. By putting a piece of redstone in here, we can generate obsidian. Just like that. We need a lot of black steel. That's why we need this. Alright, let's mix up some N steel dust. We'll have to blast furnace this and vacuum freeze it in order to get ingots. Oh shoot, but we need nichrome coils to make this. Alright. Coming back. Nichrome coils are the next tier above Canthal. Made from nickel and chrome. Hopefully I have some of that left. Yes. These also need to be made in an HV assembler with some stainless steel foil and liquid aluminum. So that other stuff is not too bad. Make a pattern for stainless steel foil. And then the 2x nichrome wires. Just so I can see how much nichrome we're gonna need total. I'm assuming that I need to replace all of these in these parallel blast furnace in order for it to work. Because I'm assuming that I can't just replace these and that this will still work. So let's go ahead and make 26 of them to replace everything. Okay, that's what I thought. 208 nichrome. We do need to smelt nichrome in a blast furnace. We're also going to want to make sure we export those hot nichrome ingots into our blast furnace. What am I talking about? This is a vacuum freezer. Jeez. Then we can get nichrome ingots. All this, and I still have not made the distillation tower today. And I probably won't either. So I'm thinking the move for now to save on nichrome is just to make a new blast furnace. And get rid of these Canthal coils. Add in some nichromes. 16. Boom. Encoded. New pattern. There we go. That is a lot less. Let's mix together some... Oh, shoot. Oh, blue steel. Okay. I got concerned there for a second. And then we can smelt it up. Then we can extrude this into a gear. Lathe it into a buzzsaw. And finally, make our cutter. Now with our HV cutter and some infinite water, we can cut our low power wafers into chips. It does have to be inside of a clean room, of course. Who would have thought? Slight problem though, I'm gonna need HV power in here. This is a simple fix though, because I'm already Bringing in 1 amp of HV power through this MV diode. This should be set to 4 amps, so if I get rid of this, please don't blow up, then we can connect this up. I'm going to need another MV transformer to bring that in, but then we can cut these low power chips. Uh-oh, that's not good. I may need an HV diode. Uh-oh, that's concerning. That takes platinum. We definitely don't have platinum. I think we can get it, though. I guess I need an HV die. So this is going to take SMD diodes, which takes gallium arsenide, polyethylene, and then fine platinum wire. Platinum. Geez, how did I do that? Platinum looks like we can find in the end inside of a sheldonite vein. Let's take a look, shall we? Hello, sir. I'm considering not fighting you to be on peaceful mode. I think that counts. I don't think I'm cheating. Hopefully there is a platinum vein somewhere on this end island, because otherwise we do have to fight him. Sheldonite, yes. Rude. There is a small amount of platinum in here somewhere. And I'm assuming we just need enough to get us 8 wires to make a whole bunch of SMD diodes. So let's just roll with that for right now. We can always come back. Alright, so I made a pattern for the HV diodes. We're going to need 4x gold cables. We're going to need fine platinum wire. And then the SMD diodes are made in our polyethylene assembler. Boom. And can we do it? Can we do it? Yes. Alright, let me get this set up right this time. HV diode instead of the MV1. This is gonna have to re-clean itself now that I broke it for it to work. We're gonna bring in 1 amp of HV power, so that should work just fine. Connect that up, and that should be powering this fine. Once this cleans itself, it should start working. I do need to connect this up again with an MV transformer. That should be powered again. While we're waiting on these LPIC chips, we need one more ingredient to make the MV energy hatches, and that is sodium potassium. This one's really easy. We just need sodium and potassium, which we both have pretty much on passive. Potassium comes from our deep slate processing. What's wrong with you? How do you not have enough power? Okay, instead of that, I think I can put the P2P tunnel on the 4X cable. Eventually add a couple more turbines. Do that. Connect that up again. Connect this up to transport. Ooh. That's not gonna work, is it? Yeah, we're gonna set this up to input 4 amps of energy instead. Reroute this to only connect up there, so that that only gets 1 amp. Make sure this wire is ready to receive 4 amps. Make sure that's back to 1. And that should all work fine. Okay, I think it is working again. And everything should be powered enough. I hope. You aren't going anywhere? I hope. Okay. Let's make sodium potassium in a chemical reactor. Oh, that's going to take all my power because I don't have enough turbines. We should just be able to use 1 export bus and pipe some nitrobenzene into each one of these. I may need an ME interface though, because I don't think these export buses are fast enough. Oh, I do have acceleration cards. Let's do that. I should fill it up right quick. Cool, then we should have 4 amps of HV power going into this P2P tunnel. Coming out over here. That should solve all of our power problems for the near future, I think. We also now have sodium potassium, which is going to auto output into this assembler. And this has those HV energy hatches inside, ready to be made. Finally. Once I have these, at least. HV energy hatch 2, please. Stainless steel, of course, as always. I'm gonna have to fix this too. Done. Let's make it. Ah, you need to be made an HV assembler. Whoopsie. That's these high voltage coils that you need for the energy hatches. Need to be made in this tier of assembler. On circuit 1, of course, which means we'll need a different assembler. And with that, we can replace our MV energy hatches for our micro assembler. Micro miner. I have no idea what I'm talking about today. With these new HV ones, we'll need to get HV power into both of these, 2 amps of each. And magic, P2P tunnel. Boom. Obviously, this is going to be all of our power, but we just need it to run the micro miner just once. You should be working wonderfully, and we should get all of those wonderful, wonderful tier 2 micro miner ores. I'm mostly looking to process that scheelite for manganese. We need a lot of stainless steel for those distillation towers. I do not have that much. We need 28 more stainless steel for the distillation tower itself. I think that's 28 more than I have. And then for the first distillation tower we're gonna make, we're gonna need to make it 4 input buses tall. We need 35 stainless steel casings, which is another over 2 stacks of stainless steel that I do not have. All because I don't have all that manganese. But look, all of our ores are processed. We're gonna get all of these wonderful ores in here. They should... What do I do about that? Let's just fix that like that for now. Okay, just had to do this the manual way for now. So yeah, that should get us a lot more ores, a lot more copper and stuff. Phew! I feel like I'm doing a lot, but I've made like no progress. Well, the other thing I was gonna do was finish making the EV rock breaker for infinite PTFE, because that's the only thing we're missing to put this on passive, I think. Except chlorine. We definitely don't have passive. I think I also need some more power gen for my AE2 system. It seems like it's running low. Oh, I found the problem. I disconnected that. Okay, now everything should be working again. Alright, just got all the materials for an advanced rock cutter. The HV, or the EV one. I don't even know where I'm at anymore. The deep slate recipe in the rock breaker does take 960 EU per tick, and that's going to take 2 of these HV generators. Unfortunately, the next tier above HV, making the these 1 block turbines is not an option anymore. We need to make the large gas turbine. That's if we want to burn benzene, and this takes a lot of stainless steel and other things that we don't have. So just getting 2 HV generators is gonna do us just fine. So I finished making the nichrome blast furnace. It's a little maintenance. Then we should be able to make in steel in this. It does need HV power, so I have 2 MV hatches in the back. Wow, that is a nice, pretty oil emissive texture. Oh, I see, because it's getting hotter. That makes sense. Anyway, let's make sure that our in-steel ingots are getting put into our vacuum freezer. We need in-steel because it is the superconductor for EV, and since we don't have any EV power gen right now, I'm just gonna hook it up to where our HV power is getting made with these 4 turbines, because this isn't getting used all the time. So let's pop a transformer onto here. We're gonna transform up into EV power. Then we should be able to connect our new machines onto here. I realized that the only thing we were missing for the rock breaker was a magnetic neodymium rod. We do have neodymium now that we got this episode, but in order to make the magnetic rods, you need at least an HV polarizer. So I went ahead and made the EV one, because it's pretty cheap to make. Might as well go ahead and grab it. Then we can make these guys and our rock breaker. I think this thing is going to need 4 HV turbines itself. Oh wait, no, 2. That's right, I looked at that just a minute ago. I definitely would like to make some more wire mills for our pattern processing, because this is taking a while. Right now we only have 1 processing all of these. We are making a lot of them. Alright, let's set up the rock crusher. somehow in here. Unfortunately, it's gonna mess up my whole build there. Whoops. But who needs another pipe? We could just put it on the other side of the pipe. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4. That can't go there. Boom. Make sure it's stepping up to EV power. And then we should be safe to plug this in. Should be outputting. Oh gosh. Oh, probably because I plugged in the wrong wire. Whoopsies. These are MV wires. Okay, let's try this the right way with HV power. There we go. This should be getting enough power now to run the deep slate recipe. We'll of course need to put water and lava on either side. Do need to make sure I have auto output on this turned on. And then once we get some water in here, should start making deep slate. That should be getting crushed into dust. Then centrifuge for fluorine. And we should now have passive PTFE, assuming we always have chlorine. We do have lots and lots of salt now that we ran those microminer missions. So we'll now be able to make the large chemical reactor. I made a piece of paper for this just to see what I was missing. Still missing a lot of steel. I gotta make some. And then all of the PTFE parts I need to make patterns for, like the frame, these normal pipes, and the sheets. You need to fluid solidify at least 30 of these into ingots to get one large chemical reactor. Let's request an LCR. The chemically inert machine casings do need PTFE in order to craft. Also in the wrong pattern provider. Whoops. Any second now. Hey! Large chemical reactor. I feel like I did a lot, but nothing at the same time this episode. Let's set you up. So I'm gonna plan to do all the input and output stuff on the back, I think. For now, I just made one of each of the input buses and output hatches. And we can configure this later. We need a PTFE pipe casing in the middle, and then the rest is just made out of the chemically inert casings, except this top middle block needs to be the coil. Why are you incomplete? Oh, it's the back block that needs to be a coil. Oh, no, I was right. The coil can be on top. I don't know what this guy's deal is now. It says it can have 2 MV energy hatches. Oh, you know what? Does it have to be a copper nickel coil? That feels a little ridiculous. There we go. That gets it working. So now we'll be able to process more complicated chemical recipes, such as epoxy we need next can now be made a lot easier in the LCR. Instead of having to take these extra steps, we can just make it with all of the ingredients at once. So that's something we'll get into, I think, next episode. We'll leave it here for today. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.